going to happen. However, we have Democrats that will sign on to the impeachment proceedings, particularly of the Defense Secretary and the Secretary of State. So why do I bring this up? It's called chaos. We got to start. Thomas Jefferson made the comment, when injustice becomes a law, resistance becomes duty. That's where we're at now. Okay, so now we got to put all these pieces together. So now you have 15 moderate Democrats. We're going to concentrate on them for a second. In Trump won districts. Each one of them has a primary now from the AOCs of the world. There's redistricting coming and primaries coming starting in February.
Right.
So we want to make it as difficult for them as possible to start falling in line with Nancy Pelosi. So we're going to give them every opportunity to do that. So the next thing. They have a 4-vote majority right now in the House. What happens if 5 of them don't show up? We have to be ready for that. I went to Kevin McCarthy and said, listen, are you prepared to be Speaker on a moment's notice? He goes, what are you talking about? I said, if 5 don't show up, you've got the floor. You should go to the floor, ask for a motion to vacate the chair, and when you win, what are you going to do? He goes, what do you mean? I said, you're not going to hold it very long, so you got to get something done. He goes, well, what would you do? I said, the first thing I would do is reconstitute all the committees. But you have to have that ready to go. It's already agreed to. It's in a piece of paper. Boom, down it goes. Number 2 is you kill all legislation that is pending. Send it back to the very beginning, okay? Because it didn't go through regular order, okay? Number 4, actually put a CR on the table, a continuing resolution budget that we agree to, that we can push through. Get it pushed through, send it over to the Senate as a love note to Mitch and Chuck, and say, take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. And if you leave it, you're shutting down the government because we are leaving. The second and last thing we do is we end the emergency doctrine on COVID. Okay? Nancy, we actually brought this up because in the law states, Congress must and shall review the executive order within 6 months, no later than 6 months, to determine up or down. She tabled it. She actually ran it through a rule. I reintroduced it. She did it in a rule that now can't come back up until 2023. Folks, they're going to use this over and over again. Former Governor Cuomo let it out of the bag. Public health problem number 1, guns, Second Amendment. That's what they're going to use this for. The public health, they figured this out. So we got to get to it first. So last but not least, you adjourn. What happens is they can't take the speakership back until you reconvene Congress. But your committees can still do their work. So you're reinstituting, getting back to regular order. Okay? Then what I would do, once I had adjourned, if I'm Kevin McCarthy, I reach out to those moderate 15 Democrats and say, guess what? There's something in it for you if you vote for me as Speaker. We're going to open it up to open rule on the floor like it should be. If you've got an idea, you bring it to the floor, you speak about it, you debate about it, and if it's included in the bill, it's part of the bill. Pelosi won't give that to you, but we will. Once again, slow down the cart, slow down the work. Boom, da boom, da boom, okay? Last but not least, we need to undermine their January 6th junta, is what I call it. The DOJ won't give us the tapes, the 14,000 hours of tapes, so now we're putting the tapes together. People across the country that were there with their video cell phone are asking them to send it to a certain place, and they're putting them together. Now what ends up happening is if they don't give us the record, that becomes the record. Then we have access to that for the exculpatory evidence for these people being held in Washington, D.C. without being charged. So we have got to get back to justice. Equal justice to everyone under the same law. No exception. So if we can do that and follow through on this audit, Folks, if it's what I've been told, and I had people come to me early hours of the day after, from the Security Exchange Fraud Department to the CIA Fraud Department, that between 450 and 700,000 ballots were altered in the state of Arizona. Now, I'll give you some validation. So when word got up that there was problems, they did an audit of 100 random duplicate ballots. These are ballots that couldn't run through the machine for a number of reasons. Torn, bleed through, whatever. So they have to be adjudicated with judges looking at them. So you should have, when you run it through the machine, a 0% error rate. They had a 3% error rate. In Maricopa County, that represents over 90,000 ballots. It's important to know what the three mistakes were. There were 2 ballots. Both of them voted for Donald Trump. In the first case, they took his ballot and gave it to Joe Biden, the switch part of the algorithm. The second one voted for Donald Trump and they deleted it, called the switch and delete. Why is that important? Who's watched Kill Chain here?
I watched them all.
You now know. For those who haven't, you've got to go watch this. You will become experts in this.
And deep rig.
Yep. This Kill Chain movie is based upon the 2016 election. The Democrats make it. They take on Dominion, which happens to be the machines in Maricopa County. Why do I bring that up? Is they're known for switch and delete. Okay? So it gets worse for Maricopa County. Now they got problems. So they go to 2,500 random duplicate ballots. We don't know where they stopped. They had a 17% error rate. So if 3% is 90, take 90 times 5 is 450,000. Okay, there were 4 counties in our state that had aberrations, big aberrations. Maricopa, Pima, Coconino, and Pinal. Let's talk about Pinal. Pinal, the top 2 elected officials, resigned the very next day after the election. Kind of suspicious, wouldn't you say? So if this audit comes out the way it is, I have to tell you, we have to charge people.
Absolutely.
The supervisors have to be charged. So what I'm telling you, the governor knew exactly what I just told you.
Yes.
And he's still certified.
Right. Yes.
On January 6th, people did not listen to what I said. What I asked for was a 10-day window to actually do a forensic hand count of the ballots in at least those 6 states, but any state that wanted to get it right. Both campaigns were doing virtual inaugurations. That wouldn't have stopped. So 6 plus 10 is 16. Inaugurations not till the 21st. This was. It could have been avoided. Now there's also some good news here. In Georgia, they're doing a forensic audit called Fulton County, which is the Atlanta area. Jody Heiss, who's my friend who's running for the Secretary of State because of the problems there, has told me that there are error rates of over 60% in many of the precincts. 60%.